Okay, these two things, these two traps, mental habits, can literally paralyze you for your entire life. These two things are perfectionism and procrastination. The experts say that, most people that are perfectionists or the procrastinators, they lack confidence. They don't have a lot of confidence. So what they do is they go, well, I want to make sure this thing is perfect. I'm going to wait until these things line up and everything's, ready to go. And then I'm going to start, right? And I'm kind of addressing entrepreneurs, but this can kind of help anybody because I'm an entrepreneur and that's my perspective here, is I have a solution for you because I'll talk about that in a second. But back to the perfectionism part. I think it's stressful. Gosh, to try to do everything perfect, to try to do everything 100%. By the way, what's 100% anyway? 100% in your head? Does that mean 100% to everybody else? Now, if you're building a car, if you're building an airplane, yeah, you want to make sure everything is in excellence and all the bolts and everything are there and built to the way the specification is, right? But I'm sure there's a couple or several different ways to build an airplane or to build a car. Okay, is one way perfect and the other one's not perfect? No, they're just different ways, right? And so when you do something, here's a solution. When you do something 80%, okay, that might get the job done. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not telling you to not give it your all. I'm trying to distinguish two things here. But, my business coach, Dan Sullivan, told me about this 80% approach. And it really hit me upside the head because I was like, wow, it really made me feel like this huge weight off my shoulders because for me, in my personality, I wanted to control things. I wanted to make sure things were perfect or, I wouldn't do it unless I could win or whatever. And it's like, that's not what life's all about. Life's about learning too, right? And so there's a lot of us here that we're all stressed up. We're all pent up in anxiety because, okay, we're not going to do this thing unless it's going to be 100%. And the thing is if you just take an 80% approach and you get it 80% done, guess what you can do? Especially if you've got a team that you're working with, is you can give the rest of the 20% to somebody else and they can complete 80% of the 20% that's left. And they can keep on doing that until 100% is completed. See, we all have a unique ability, okay? There's incompetence, competence, excellence, and then there's your unique ability. That's something that you do that any of us can do that it didn't take any effort. And then other people look at us and go, wow, how did you do that? And you're like, oh, I just did it with my eyes closed or whatever. That's your unique ability, something that you can do that most people can't. And it seems very easy for you to do. That's your unique ability. And so, especially if you're working in a team, is everybody working at 100%? No, everybody's doing their part that adds up to 100%, right? So even 80% is a lot more than what's required of you if you're working in a team. And so if you do that 80% approach and you get it past that 80% goal line, then you've got other people that you're working with to finish the rest of that off. Okay, now if you don't, I bet that your 80%, the way that you're viewing how the project's supposed to be done, is actually better than somebody else's 100%. Okay, and so let me kind of backtrack here for a second. We're talking about perfectionism and procrastination, okay? And in one of my previous videos, I talked about the ideal. The ideal is like the horizon line, where the sky meets the water or the sky meets the ground. And, it doesn't really exist though. You see it, it's a visual representation, but if you go 100 miles, you're never gonna arrive at the horizon. It's something that's there, but you never get there. And so I think that a lot of us in our minds, the 100% is the ideal, is the horizon that doesn't really exist. But it's a compass. It kind of gives us that direction, right? And that's good. But do the 80% approach, okay? I'm sure that some of you just sighed. Some of you might still be confused. Try it. Do something that you've been procrastinating. Maybe you've been procrastinating getting in the weight room or to the gym or a new diet, or you're trying to read a book a month, or you're at least trying to read a book. Guess what? Just do 80%. Start it off. I bet you when you start on that track, you're going to end up finishing it. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to tell you to just run at 80% or don't give it your all. Okay? But I'm talking about things that you're trying to accomplish. Do the 80% approach. Get it almost all the way there. And someone on your team, someone that you love, someone that you're working with or something can help you with the rest of that 20%. Or they could see something that you don't. They're like, oh, you know what? You can do this, this, and this. Okay, great. Boom, it's done. But once again, have confidence. I think your 80% is probably better than anybody else's 100%. So have confidence in that. So the 80% approach is going to eliminate perfectionism, eliminate procrastination. Get started already. What are you waiting for? I look forward to helping you arrive at your next intended destination, healthy, wealthy, and happy. Now go.